The Alpha Digital Train. The platform at Chicago's train station was pretty busy. The afternoon's air was warm, and there was no breeze. People were taking photographs, couples were kissing and saying their goodbyes. Folks were uniting, folks were rushing in to get their tickets, and some folks just sitting on long benches texting on their cell phones. They were waiting for the evening departures, because all morning train tickets were, and always, sold out, even though all departures are on time. Two men walked out of the food court. They were about the same age. One was black and one was white. They looked like they were on business, and they seemed to be close friends. There was an older man looking at an historical picture and reading literature of Martin Luther King. He had a briefcase and a satchel with some laptops in them. The two men from the food court walked by and said, "Well, we have a long trip ahead of us, and many poets to find." The older man looked at them as they walked by and proceeded to follow them. The intercom came on, and time to board the train was finally here. "Now boarding to Atlanta, Georgia. All aboard." People scurried, and the conductor advised everyone to put away their cell phones and said, "Just trying to get people on the train as quickly as possible." The two men from the food court sat together, and across from them sat the older man. They all got comfortable. The sun was fading beyond the trees, and the older man looked into the trees, and he had this look upon his face. The two men were looking at him with curiosity. The older man turned away from the window and looked at them. The two men looked away, quick to be polite. The older man opened his laptop, and the train finally made its way down the railroad. Digital rights. "We are turning a page with digital books and e-reader devices," said Red, the black man that accompanied the white man named Andy. "Yes, I read 30 to 40 more books per year on my Kindle Fire," replied Andy. "It's the best gift I ever bought myself," said Red. "Yeah, well, you'll be sick of it within a year and throw it away," said Andy. "So you're transforming with all this, are you?" Andy explained. "Well, my Kindle has me hooked as well, so I can say the same for me. But I love my paperbacks and hardcovers, Andy. They worked for centuries," said Red. "Well, don't get used to your Kindle, because this century isn't looking good." "All the power may go out," said Andy. "Yes, you're right. Then we wish we had the books we love in our hands, heavy or not," said Red. "With my new case for my Nook tablet, it feels like a book to me. I paid $249 plus tax." "What did you pay for your toy, Red?" asked Andy. "I paid $199 plus tax for my Kindle. It's lightweight," said Red. "Yeah, you're a lightweight. Mine is fun and easy to use. I love the color touch screen," said Andy. "Well, I got your lightweight right here, Andy," laughed Red. "Do you know that classics are free?" Andy asked. "So you call that respecting the greats by downloading on the free version," said Red. "Red, they are dead. Man, they don't see the money," explained Andy. "No, but their families do," Red answered. "How do you know that?" asked Andy. "Come on, man, get real," said Red. "I use my library's download centers for classics. At least someone paid for it," said Andy. "Yeah, thank you, Benjamin Franklin," said Red. "Well, regarding my favorites, I'll buy the hardcovers and keep them on my shelf at home. My collections are wall to wall with books," said Andy. "While my folders on my Kindle are folder to folder," said Red. "What if your Kindle was lost or stolen? Can you re-download your purchases?" asked Andy. "Yes, Amazon has what they call cloud storage for free with Amazon Content or purchase through them." Charlie was listening to the whole conversation while doing things on his iPad, and he had an earpiece in one ear, multitasking as it seemed. "I am old-fashioned," said Charlie, "when searching for a good book or a good poet. And when I find one or two, I buy the book. There's something about pulling the book from my shelf and putting it back into my collection. Letting a page fall on a random poem. I work with computers all day long, like I am now, and a book tells me it's time to relax. I love poetry, and we have something in common. I have an Apple iPad to read poetry, but only on trips." Andy and Red looked at each other and they smiled, but did not say a word. Both of them thought of the price of his Apple iPad, $499, and what they can only afford. Charlie's thinking I can video chat, and they are limited to Wi-Fi. Andy, I can stream movies, music, and TV shows. I paid a $79 subscription for this, said Red. Well, here soon I can do the same as well with my apps. I have Netflix, music download apps. I have more storage than you, and in a non-existent Wi-Fi area, I can be entertained, Andy laughed and said, I have many recorded voiceovers of our favorite children's books that I read to my kids. Red, if you had a Nook, I can lend you my ebooks, said Andy and laughed. Red laughed and said, ebooks are threatening the formal publishing world. Yes, a new sense of connection between authors, poets, and readers. By bypassing the traditional publishers, and the readers are benefiting from all this, said Andy. The writers only get 35%, and a company like Amazon and Barnes & Noble are getting 65%, Charlie said. Vanity Publishing, said Andy. What is vanity publishing, Andy? Red asked. Where some fly-by-night company charges authors and poets to publish their work, and they bullshit and do initial good in the beginning, and they fade out and disappear, Andy explained. Some authors and poets band together and work together. They learn the modes, procedures to help each other. It's the rich versus the poor, Andy. There are many great unknowns out there, and they are sick of it. Andy, I do understand that many folks want to be with traditional publishers. They want to be under the label of with the greats, said Red. I understand that, Red, but they have to meet the labels halfway, said Andy. What do you mean halfway? Asked Red. These authors and poets you are talking about think they are Elvis Presley, said Andy. Red was silent. See, you know what I'm talking about. Narcissists, the self-righteous, are unwilling to bend and help out the fellow poet and author. They're supposed to share their writing expertise. Instead, they let fame and wealth increase their ego. They should share their success, however small, with beginning writers. They get away with so much bullshit. Blind is blind. Two kinds, Red. Two kinds, said Andy. Charlie was smiling and eating this conversation up. What do you mean about Elvis Presley? Asked Red. Would I have to break it down for you? Said Andy. I'm confused. Because Elvis sung other people's songs, said Red. Andy was laughing and explained. Let's take a car battery and these digital devices we all three have as examples. Think of them as dreams of authors, dreams of poets to be published, read, loved, fanned, and furthermore talked about. We have the dreams. Availability, Red, availability. People make dreams for people every day. Dreams there at the dream store. And dreams are hauled daily, weekly there at the dream store. People work at the dream factory every day. All 3 shifts, in fact. They even work minimum wage to make dreams. They even get ripped off by these temp companies that take half of the money they deserve. The dreams are made at the dream factory, and the dreams are hauled to the dream store. Every morning they get up and go to work to make these dreams possible. The battery, the Nook, the Kindle, and the Apple iPad are available just like the authors' and poets' dreams. They have to work hard and implement their dreams and meet the dream makers halfway. They need to get off their asses and go get their dreams. No one is a dream reader. Do you know what my dream is, Red? No, you don't. So I have to make my dreams happen on my own. Even if I am good looking and can sing good, no one's going to knock on my door and say, here, man, here are all your dreams. Come true, man. Them days are long gone. They have been ever since the late 50s and early 60s, Red explained. Red was thinking of his sister, struggling with her songwriting career, and said, What if the battery goes dead? Charlie spoke up and said, they sell battery chargers at the same place. Andy and Red just looked at each other at the remark. Andy laughs at Red and says, is your battery dead, Red? No one plays Elvis anymore, Andy, said Red. Are you getting pebbles with me, Red? Asked Andy and laughed. Put your money where your south is, Andy, said Red. You're missing the point, said Andy. No, I got you, handy Andy. I'm not as slow as this train is. Progression in this country has declined. Innovation died down since the 60s. Poetry lost its mainstream due to radio, silent films, films in the roaring 20s, and the universities did not defend poetry. The strive for genuine excellence has no incentives. Only a handful recognize their existence to do something with their life and dreams, put effort in their work. Dedication to believe what they do is great, regardless if they're laughed at or being looked at as absurd. Have some Roosevelt, Andy. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcoming. But who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself for a worthy cause, who, at the best, knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who, at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly. So that is his place. Shall he never be with those cold and timid souls who knew neither victory nor defeat? Patience and persistence in the sake of doing what they love to do regardless of praise. These people think of both, outward and inward, long term and short term. They think and do things differently, Red explains. It's the parents' fault, don't you think? They don't teach their children the beauty of reading in attractive ways, like things their children love, say for instance animals or sports heroes and etc. Let's face it, we have failed the youth in so many ways. 80% of the rich don't inspire children to read. There's only one that comes to mind. Tony Blair with England's World Book Day. We need a World Poetry Day also, said Andy. I have a thought for you. What do you think of street poets versus academic poets? I like either or, asked Charlie as he began to read things on his laptop. Andy and Red looked at each other and smiled.